Alright boys, welcome back to the Black Clover Mobile video. Today we're going to be going over the best characters for Black Clover Mobile PvP. We're going to completely cut out the PvE part of the tier list because generally it's not that useful. You bring what you need to bring. If you want a buffer, you bring some buffers. If you want to bring an attacker like a big nuker, then you bring Raya or obviously Asta. Bosses are constantly changing. There's always different options of different teams to bring. So personally, there's no real point in making a PvE tier list. But the PvP side is where things actually matter because they are competing against each other. So let's just jump in towards our PvP tier list, starting off at the S tier. Alright, so of course, S tier is going to have Black Asta and the Witch Queen, by far the best combo in the game. Just insane, right? Like, Witch Queen allows Asta to constantly proc the anti-magic where normally he would basically die. And to be fair, he definitely needs it right now because if there was no way for him to heal back up, then Mereoleona will probably be the best character in the game right now. Or especially with the actual, immortality that the actual Witch Queen on Mono Red does get. So, yeah, of course, these two are going to be top tier. Julius is obviously still in the SS rank because he's still by far the best, like, standard just DPS without any gimmicks. You can use him by himself. He does a lot of damage to one-shot Astas. Obviously, he's a bit harder now with obviously Mono Red, but the guy is still obviously very, very good. Mereoleona. Yeah, I think she's SS. I mean, you have the character at 5-star dupes, maybe even 5-star skill page dupes as well. She actually is very, very good. Honestly, if you look at the rankings right now, even though she does lose towards Mono Red, that doesn't mean you can't use her because not everyone is using Mono Red. People are using other Mereoleonas. People are using Julius's to counter Mono Red. So there's that triangle really where people are kind of countering Mono Red with obviously Mono, or at least Julius, and then you can counter Julius's with obviously Mereoleona. So there's that back and forth a little bit. She really does open the door for many other characters, and that's something you love to see from a character. For Goleon, the red one who we'll talk about later on, has gotten a massive buff now that she's in the game. So yeah, of course, Mereoleona is going to be in the SS. She really does make her own team, and it's what you expect from Mereoleona, but not only Mereoleona, a festival character. So moving on to the other two, I don't think that's much of a surprise to see these two here, but Charlotte still by far one of the best supports in the game, just to give it that bit of a DPS boost, but also obviously that survivability with the shield. She is obviously still gonna be very, very good. William. It's crazy that we're this far in the game and William is still SS, and that's simply for one reason. His combo attack is just, it's too good. He's got the fastest speed in the game right now, obviously minus in the Mono Red with obviously, depending on the setup, but generally he's got the fastest speed in the game, and just getting that combo attack off of Mereoleona to get those extra burns, to use that defensive penetration with Julius to get that one-shot Asta, to get the Asta to stun as well. Like, every character coming out nowadays that has a good combo attack is just pairing up so well with William. Okay, so moving in towards the S tier, we're going to run through these a little bit quickly because there are obviously a lot of characters, and we're going to go talk about the the big differences. But yeah, Charmy, of course, gonna be S tier. She is still very, very good. Even like 0-star dupes, just her being who she is and the extra damage she could do on Mono Red is obviously still very, very good. Noelle got a bit of love recently with the new gear sets, and she actually is very fun to play around with, more unique than most characters, but there are a lot of counters towards her with the fact that she does do a lot of debuffing, and with Black Asta and that new talent that people are realizing, you can just block a lot of debuffs and get debuff immunity. She's not getting the most value, but she's still obviously very, very good. Mimosa, there's a lot of taunts right now in the meta, but she's still very, very good. You get that sneaky revive off. Her herself is quite tanky too, just not a bad character. Real though, Real is actually getting a lot of love recently because this character, I think I kind of slept on a little bit, but I think with the recent PvP arena, the event one, we had to use mono green, and since there weren't that many green options, I started using Real, and I started to appreciate the character a lot more. The skill 2 has a chance to remove 2 buffs, and that does actually count towards the buffs that the actual seasonal Charlotte does give, which can absolutely just negate that actual ultimate, which is insane. So yeah, very, very good. Had a chance to stun, even though it's not like a guarantee thing. 40%, and bear in mind, a lot of characters, especially Mereoleona, are getting stun immunity, so it's not like the most useful one, but the fact that it does apply a level 3 incapacitate too. Okay, so Vanessa. So I have a lot to say about this character. So I use her as a DPS character, which is not what you want to do. You want to use her as a support character with the fact that you can protect your lowest speed character, which, for example, right now, might be like a Mereoleona, and people are starting to use this combo a little bit. She's not a must-have. She can sort of win a little bit on good RNG if you can like counter a mono red by making Asta not use this tier 2 skill. But even boys, I've used this character a lot. She actually might be one of my most used DPS or characters in the game right now. So I will say yes, she deserves the S tier. I don't think she deserved it before we got Mereoleona, but I think now with Mereoleona in the game, she actually has a lot of uses now. So yeah, Vanessa, S tier. Mereoleona, like I said in my yesterday's video, this guy was unusable until we got Mereoleona. His actual ultimate, which does actually do a lot of damage if you build him up properly, you can see it revolves around him dealing damage AoE towards characters with burn. But the problem was there was no real good burn characters. And you saw, you know, this last season, we got Fauna and also Mereoleona that can apply burns. Mereoleona, obviously a 5-star DPS being the easiest way to provide those burns just by simply existing. And if they attack her 3 times, boom, the whole team has 3 burns. Mereoleona is now doing maximum damage. And the guy just had a rerun. And if you look at the rankings right now, like everyone is using this combo right now. Just the fact that maxed out Mereoleona is doing numbers with maxed out Mereoleona. And yeah, I don't know if they did that intentionally. I'm assuming they did. But the fact that Mereoleona and Mereoleona work so well together is very, very nice. Fauna is definitely very good. I've not actually seen her in regular PP. She cooked, obviously, in that event arena before Mereoleona came out. But I think with Mereoleona, people are obviously moving towards him, and he's just kind of a bit better, I guess, because he works so well, obviously, with Mereoleona. But Fauna still cooks, still does a lot of damage, still a good DPS, probably the best green DPS if you don't count Mereoleona. You know, and Finro, just mono red staples. Finro being a bit better right now, at least above Vatos, which is why he's a bit higher, just because his ultimate is a buff skill and not an actual damage skill like how Vatos is. So if you are versing a Mereoleona, you're not going to get that free proc of burn, which I versed a few Vatoses with my 5-star Mereoleona, and it just doesn't work. A tier is... Okay, so the A tier is actually quite filled up here, and we have 2 new characters, because I'm not too sure where to rate them just yet, and a bit tricky, right? Because I think both of these characters will just jump straight towards them, that being Luck and also Yami. The 2 new season characters, I think they got some use. Yami aging a bit better once we do get, obviously, Spirit Dive. You know, I think with the mono green teams, and just anytime we get mono green buff, he's going to be okay. But the guy wants to be maxed out, and he's not really worth it. He's a seasonal character. You can't regularly get him. I think he's got better things to be doing. And that kind of goes for a lot of the things in A tier. You just have better things to be doing. So use like Raya Licht. Why would you bother when you can just use like a combo attack of William with Mereoleona? You got a few buff characters in here like Radis, but why would you use him when you can have Charlotte? Vatos, you can just use Finral nowadays. You know, Ghost, you can just rather use someone else like Charlotte. So like these are characters that like are kind of decent, but you just can do better things. I will say I think I moved up the blue Yami, because I used blue Yami a little bit to kind of counter the mono red a little bit, with the fact that if Asta goes into anti-magic, you can like stop healing. So he does his AoE skill. As long as you survive, then you can actually kill him, because he can't lifesteal and he's stuck at 0 HP. So he's got a little bit of use there. But yeah, I think A tier is not really too much to complain about. It's just okay characters. B tier going down, we have a few reasons why some characters are still low. Like Charlotte, for example. Charlotte can still be used, and you know, that Mark combo, I've seen it before. It does do a lot, and you can argue that could deserve an A tier. But I think with the fact that we have green Charlotte in the game, you'd rather just use green Charlotte. And that's kind of what the B and C and D tier kind of are a little bit. Fauna, why would you use blue Fauna when you have the green one? Kayato is a blue DPS character, but you can just use Julius because he's just a worse version of Julius. Mars, I don't know if people still use Mars. I see a few of them sometimes. Sure, that debuff immunity can be good turn 1, but he generally does nothing nowadays, honestly. Veto and Yuno, I will say 2 things about these characters. Veto, I'm a little bit unsure because no one's ever used him. I've not even used him. I just think he's a bad character because he doesn't really look too enticing on paper. Yuno, I think can be a bit usable in PvE, but not really so much PvP. And I think the biggest shock for B tier might be the fact that we have Summoner Well in here. Honestly, boys, I showcased on the channel the other day, Max Deep, you know, wherever she can be, right? It's just such a bad character now. Everyone that has come out has been literally made to counter her in whatever way they decide to do it. Mereoleona having 2 ways to remove barriers. Just, I mean, not only was she not usable before Mereoleona came out, but the fact that Mono Red you know, Asta, like in almost every single game, having that actually, you know, way to remove barriers, it's too much. Everyone has taunts, so even if Asta didn't actually remove the barrier, he has taunting, so you can't actually use that shield. Her shield lasts 2 turns. There's that 1 turn where you can kill her. So if you can survive long enough, then boom, you can do that. But with the fact that now everyone's got a taunt in some way, with the fact that now everyone can literally just remove barriers, I mean, it's just, there's literally, she does nothing. Like, the AoE damage just ain't cutting it. Like, if you think about it, Asta counters Noelle. Julius counters Noelle. Mereoleona counters Noelle. We've had 3 back-to-back festivals that literally all destroy her. Unusable. Like, generally, it's insane. The fact that Yami, the newest character, who I think is even more unusable, is, I think, a bit more usable than Noelle, shows. And the final 2 tiers, I mean, these are subjective. I think you can probably argue a lot of them maybe deserve a bit higher. But for Gordion, the green one, just not good. Once again, the red one's now out and a lot better. You'd rather be using him. Leo, honestly, you might be able to use him now that Mereoleona is out. But, no. And then finally, to wrap up the video in the D tier, we have both Astas. Once again, you could argue you may be in C or B tier, but when Black Asta exists, that's kind of my whole point a little bit. When there's a character, you can only use 1 Asta on the team. There's zero reasons to use the Clover Academy Asta, the actual swimsuit one, when we literally have Black Asta in the game, who is by far the best character and still one of the best in the game right now. So, yeah, boys, that's going to wrap up this tier list. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you would make any changes. Once again, I'd say the SS and S tier, it's just you're going to find these, like, one of these 2 characters in, like, almost every single team. The A tier is, like, you know, you can cook a little bit, right? Like I said, the goal is you can somewhat use Mereoleona a little bit, but you have better things to be doing. So, boys, thank you for watching today's video, and, yeah, let me know your comments down below, and peace.